Hey everybody, how's it going? I am Fabrizio, and I have a guest, Tyler. I am excited. We're going to talk about Lovecraft. He just jumped into it, but I think we're going to kill a few minutes of time before we dive into it. So, how you been?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Um, is your is my
Uh-oh.
mic is working?
I think you sound normal.
Okay. Yeah. So, what have you been up to?
Not much, just working away. Um, Working on Red Koi every morning. Gonna wrap that up, hopefully, in the next year or two. And then, you need something to listen to while you work. So I've heard a lot about this Lovecraft guy. And
Yeah, Lovecraft.
no,
So the reason I think this is really fun for me is like I think that when you read something is as important as what you read. Like,
mm,
so I was fortunate, or some people would say unfortunate. Like when I was like, I don't know, 14 years old, probably something like that. I really dug into a lot of different stuff. And Lovecraft was one of them.
mm.
Um, so I've kind of lived with it
At
for
14?
yeah. So I've lived it with my whole life. Um, like 1984, right? I'm reading that at 14.
Oh
And
my gosh.
when you're
What sort
four,
of adolescence did you have?
it was dark, grim. I was surly.
You were in good company then.
Yeah, but like at 14, you kind of like you can really chew on that.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was talking to my oldest brother Ricardo, who's older than me, and he had never read it, and I don't know, this was a couple of years ago or something. And I'm like, oh, what'd you think? And I could tell like he liked it. He obviously understood it and implications, but when you're in your 50s,
Mm,
sitting down to 1984, it's like
yeah.
you don't want to have to deal with that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's a
It's like
lot. Yeah, yeah.
so like you're kind of lucky to read things at certain times, I think. Like you're
Mhm.
open to kind of absorbing them as opposed to, oh, I don't want to live through that.
It's a different thing when you have the lenses on as you're growing up, which can be helpful, especially with something like 1984, or Lovecraft if you're going to be going into a nihilist phase. But like if you go back, I read 1984 probably when I was in my mid to late 20s, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But I'm constantly going through those cycles in my head, so I was like, okay, well, this is just life now. I guess I have to deal with it.
Yeah, like A Christmas Carol is a perfect example.
Mm,
Like, as a kid, you're like, man, that Scrooge is a jerk. I hate that guy. He's the
mhm.
worst. Then as you get older, it's like you feel so bad. Like you feel for him. He's lonely. He's
I could
so
easily be that guy if
I
I
I
a
have been
few.
Scrooge.
Yeah.
Except there was no redemption arc for me.
It's just Scrooge, but continuing on.
Go find that duck and make me the duck. Hey, some people in stream.
Hey guys.
How's it going, Larry? King Undead?
Yeah.
Neo Lycanderez. I think that's an ad. But thanks for coming,
Yeah, we
Spam.
appreciate it.
I love uh we both sound normal. That's good. That's the first time anybody's ever called me normal. I don't
You
know about
stole
you.
that joke before I could make it, and good for you. Well played, sir.
Hey Kayla, how's it
Hey,
going? Thanks for
how
popping
are you?
in. And Justin, what's up? Justin's a big Lovecraft fan.
Awesome.
Um so we might as well start with how this happened.
Mm,
I am I have a lot of interest, and I'm not saying that to make me sound interesting. I'm uninteresting, but I do have a lot of interest. And I let my interest sort of take over what I do at
mhm.
any given time.
Yeah.
And I've been bookbinding, I don't know, past 4 months or something.
It's
So
been very cool to watch.
I printed
Oh,
and bound Call of Cthulhu, right?
it's
Got the
amazing.
nice end
Look at
papers,
those
the
that's gorgeous.
ribbon. So I posted this on I put this on Twitter and Instagram,
Yeah,
and you mentioned on Instagram that you had just read Shadow over Innsmouth, and I'm like,
yeah.
this is like it's I don't know, it's like we're in the woods, and we think we're in like settled land, and there's a tribe that is they don't have language, they haven't invented the wheel yet. So that's you. You're like a
Yeah, yeah.
Papua New Guinea tribe when it comes
That's
to Lovecraft.
that's how people refer to me in this case. Yeah, man. No, it was. I had obviously been aware of Lovecraft for years and years and years, but I remember, gosh, maybe it was like 2010 or 2013 or so. I felt like everything was Cthulhu. I just, at least in my spheres, it was like, it seemed like everybody was trying to jam Cthulhu into everything, and I was like, what is that? Like, I didn't understand what the character was. I had heard the phrase Lovecraftian in reference to some of Mike Mignola's stuff, and I liked that. Like, if you read the first, I think it's the first Hellboy volume, where he's like in a haunted house and there's like frog
Yep.
monsters and tentacly stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I've been into Ben Templesmith's independent work for a while, and he would always reference it, but it almost seemed like one of those things. I was like, maybe like you mentioned with your brother, it was like, there's a whole thing happening there. I'm not sure I'm going to be into it. There are aspects of it that I like, but I don't know that I'm willing to give it the time right now. And then I can't remember what it was that I think I just was looking up one day, like, what's some overview of some Lovecraft stories, and the description of the Shadow over Innsmouth came up, and the whole idea behind that story of a guy traveling to this isolated town in New England, which something I love about Lovecraft was that he makes America ancient. The ancient town of Arkham, the ancient town of Innsmouth. It's like, I love that he adds that like gravitas to New England where I live. And so I was like, well, that sounds really cool. So I listened to an audio version on Horror Babble, this really
Yeah, yeah.
cool YouTube
It's the
channel,
best one.
and it was so, I was like riveted. And then I was like, well, are there any comics? Like, I didn't even go for prose. I was like, are there any comics? And then at my local shop, I found there's like a manga version of The Shadow over Innsmouth, and I it was so many things that I loved from what I thought were like you, I have many interests, so you don't always see where all your interests can converge. It's like, well, I love Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I love old architecture, and I love creepy, hidden towns, and I love this whole idea of like this um, Old Testament pantheon existing like at the edge of reality. I didn't know you could bring that all together.
Yeah, and it's funny. You live in Maine,
Yeah,
and so I'm reading Lovecraft at 14, kind of obsessed with him, and some ancillary or other authors that kind of play in that world.
yeah,
And for the rest of my life, I'm obsessed with New England. Like, I have to get to Providence.
yeah.
I have to go to Boston. I have to go to, and every vacation that me and my wife take, it's in New England, and it's it's the weather. So to me, even if this was a quaint little New England town,
Mhm.
behind the gambrel roof, I would just imagine some horror
Yes.
or some like devolved people like scrambling around. So it like projects this total, like you said, like this old crazy thing on top of something that should be pretty idyllic.
Well, I've always loved. So first of all, I've always loved like really cool like alleyways like in cities where everything's kind of stacked up. But translate that to New England, I've always loved piers, like especially piers that are working waterfronts where things just seem to be like have been like nailed together to just kind of stacked on top of each other and built up and built up. So you have this, you know, weird maze that the fishermen understand because it's their world, but from the outside you're like, there's something going on in there. And like the smell, like it's all of it's very much its own world, and I'm not a part of it.
Yeah. So I want you to show your book, like,
Oh, the comic book again.
and like you have countless
Oh, well,
notes and
I wanted to be, so I reread it, just in preparing for this conversation, just because I wanted to just kind of help myself, remember some of the major parts. But yeah, no, it was not difficult homework. It was a lot of fun.
I want you to know I'm totally winging it. I haven't read this in a long time.
We'll do our best.
Justin, is that a fat joke? No. No, Justin has written some very Lovecrafty and some cool stuff.
Sweet.
Kayla, let me tweet this. Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Kayla.
Don't have language, don't have the wheel. You're describing South Jersey. No comment. Hey, Gollum Wolf, how's it going? Meanwhile, me living here, I can assure you it is horror, and there are those types scrambling around. Well, every time I go, it's pleasant with just a hint of, oh, so this was in Rhode Island or in Providence. We went some winter, November, December. We go at the horrific times, and we rented out. It was an Airbnb. It was like 120-year-old house. It's on Benefit Street. I think that was the name of it. That's like the very famous, like architecturally preserved area of Providence. And so it's a beautiful house. And in the bedroom, there's like 20 coats of paint, and there was some updated furniture and stuff, but you could tell like this has not been like gutted and redone.
Yeah.
And there was a door in the bedroom, and I just assumed it was a closet, but we never opened it. We were there for 2 days, I think. And then like the morning of, I can't remember when it was, but I opened it up, and it's just like a hole that like curves and slopes down into the darkness.
Oh my gosh.
So I locked it, and I did not tell my wife, because she'd be like, we got to get out of here. Something's going to be knocking on that door in the middle of the night. So it like,
and you're like, we're not going anywhere. Something's going to be knocking in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So that's the closest I came to it. But you can't help but project all these stories. And I want to say it's easy because, Lovecraft sort of set the setting, but not that he was the first. I mean, he pulled from a lot of people too.
Yeah, no, it's I watched a documentary. I wouldn't recommend it, but it was I can't even remember what it's called, which is another reason I wouldn't recommend it, I guess. But it was interesting to see like Lovecraft's history and kind of his background. To me, I think like the interesting thing was you have this guy who seems to have lived in this sort of upper crust but isolated, lonely world, very nihilistic, I think. And when like the culture was increasingly being saturated by like I don't know, like I don't want to sound like I know exactly what I'm talking about, but like evolutionary theory as undercutting any sort of sense of religion and therefore objective morality. So it's like, oh, we're just animals. Oh, we're just meaningless. Oh, we're just, what's the phrase? Like a meat sack spinning a speck of dust. And then, it's just like, but like taking that to its logical conclusion, he's like, oh, like, let's, I'm going to push this as far as I can. And like, just being in that oceanside city, and allowing all of like, say like those simple alien forms that you see of like the creatures that live there. See, I don't know if that's why so many of like the gods and the creatures were like aquatic. Do you think it's because he was looking at something that was so like anti-human in a sense?
I mean, I know there's always all these stories about Lovecraft, and you don't know what's like apocryphal or what.
And correct me if I get something wrong.
No. And I think you're right about the evolutionary stuff, because he actually has a story called, and I'm going to blank on the name of it. But anyway, and I don't want to give you the twist, but in the end, it kind of plays on evolution and monkeys and things like that. Yeah, so it was definitely something he was thinking of. I'm going to go through some comments here real quick. Yeah. Hey, Kibo, how's it going? Adjacent connected authors in some way. Ambrose Bierce, for sure. Clark Ashton Smith come to mind. For me, it was Brian Lumley, who was more like a 70s, 80s author. Is it Richard, the guy that did the Yellow Sign? I love his stuff. In fact,
the Yellow Sign. I just heard about the Yellow King.
The Yellow King. Sorry, he has a short story, The Repairer of Reputations.
The
That is a
Repairer.
big influence on Horace H. Hoover. If anybody knows that story, the big influence on Horace H. Hoover.
Cool.
It's so good, and so is the Mountains of Madness. That is that another manga artist maybe?
Oh
As
yes,
well.
he drew this. Yes.
Oh, cool.
Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, no, my shop has a whole stack that I'm looking forward to working through.
Gollum Wolf. Wasn't Lovecraft good friends with Robert E. Howard? Yep. Do you think that had any influence on his writing? I think Robert E. Howard was quite a bit younger, unless I'm thinking of Robert Bloch. I am no Lovecraft expert. I don't.
We're here because we thought,
Yeah, I told you I did not. I don't prepare for things. Next time you and your wife visit, let me know, and I'll take you guys to Dogtown and show you all the different parts of Salem. A tour won't. Heck yeah, we were there. I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe it was before COVID. Salem was fun. Hey, Ara, how's it going? Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I know Lovecraft talked about some of his influences would have been Arthur Machen, maybe. There's a few.
Yeah, I picked that up. And I don't know if it was Machen, but whoever, the guy that wrote The Yellow King, that influenced the first season of True Detective, apparently, which I haven't watched, but I've seen clips.
Robert Chambers? Robert?
I think that's it.
Yeah, anyway, The Repairer of Reputations is in that anthology of short stories.
Is it really something about this dark spiritual world haunting what seems like the most normal parts of society, or the most what is considered the most normal parts of society? That's one thing that gets me with Lovecraft stuff, is I don't necessarily, I can't understand how he's able to so easily make those pivots from quaint New England town, nice guy just studying away, in college, to all of a sudden, like I was telling you, I started listening to, what was it, the Dreams of
Dreams in the Witch House.
Dreams in the Witch House. So the way it starts, but you're like, oh my gosh, yes, especially in Rhode Island, this place was soaked in that stuff.
There's just something, and again, and I don't know if it's been projected on me all these years, but there's something about the architecture and the stories.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't think you can have the sort of depth and complexity of a horror story if it was set in a brutalist apartment building. You could to some degree, but I think it would be more like an average one. It would be like Psycho.
Well, it might have to be something different. Like Southern Gothic is different, and it works. In the True Detective sense, people love that show, and obviously people like Southern Gothic literature. But and Lovecraft stuff is different, though. It's very that unique New England flavor. I guess you can't play them exactly the same way. But dude, something about those old Victorian buildings and overbuilt towns and waterfront stuff like that. There's something different there.
So I haven't read any Robert E. Howard.
Me either.
Outside of adaptations, and I don't know why I never did. For me, going back and rereading Lovecraft just seemed more fun. And again, we were talking before we came online, we're architecture addicts. So I think it just lends itself. If you love architecture, him going on 3 pages about sagging gambrel roofs, that's amazing.
So good. It's he, especially in Shadow over Innsmouth. I don't even know if the protagonist, and I can't even remember his first name. I just know he ends up being, spoiler alert.
I'm sorry, what are we talking about?
In the Shadow over Innsmouth, the protagonist, at one point, he just ends up crossing into the most decrepit part of Innsmouth. And it's just this town where they've tried to just keep stacking tenement buildings and shacks on top of shacks. And when they've boarded them all up, there's still noises and splashing from inside. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. This is exactly what I wanted to read about. And I need to read the prose version because I get more descriptors, I think, even though he's drawn them here.
I mean, I think people that like to read, I think we naturally like this is going to sound strange, like to read about people who like to read. So
Yeah,
the antiquarian, the librarian, the research guy who gets
yeah.
obsessed with a town and this and that, like I think it's just natural for us. Um, let
It
me
says,
let me go through a few more comments, and then we'll actually jump into the story.
yeah, yeah. Just trying to find the phrase that he says in here.
Kayla says, "Oh my God, Taylor, I think you would love Robert E. Howard. You would recommend the."
I the Sumerian. Well, I love the comic books too. Like I
Yeah,
love what they're doing with the comic books. So I like whenever I can find like a is Gerardo Zaffino like Conan
yeah.
comic, or some of the classics. I've got a bunch of the classics on the in the chaos over there just to look at the brushwork. So I love the comic books. Steven Subek is just putting out like Dust of Zuthal, and I have that in French in black and white. They're just releasing it in English um, this month or next month. So I've loved the comic books, and I definitely want to check out the pro. So Kayla, if you've got recommendations, I'd love to have them.
Yeah, I have a bunch of Savage Sword of Conan magazines, and
So
those are
good.
just they're
They're
just.
so good.
I mean, people love Wrightson, but I mean, go back to and look at some of those Savage Sword of
Mm-hmm.
Conans, and they are just as beautifully done in pen and ink.
And I think there's you could see the connection between Lovecraft and Howard because like Howard's worlds, at least I get from the comics, they're so lived in. People, they're cultures. They're part of a culture. Conan is part of a culture. It's like there's not like a they're not just pasted up. And you get the same with Lovecraft. Like you learn so much about these towns in New England and these places that maybe don't exist on the actual map, but they were places that Lovecraft knew intimately.
yeah, I want to point this out. Larry, never been to New England, but have dreamed
Yeah.
about it. Thanks to a little craft I've read. Lovecraft wasn't just sights in the dream, but sounds and smells too. And that made me think of something. In the beginning of the Dunwich Horror, he talks about the smell, and you'll realize that you've crossed through Dunwich or something like that.
Mm.
So my brother moved to Massachusetts. I don't know how long ago it was. One of my brothers, and he moved to a place called Wilbraham. And I found out later that Lovecraft based Dunwich off of Wilbraham. I'm like that. Now, if you go to Wilbraham
Oh
today,
my
obviously
gosh.
there's not. But I'm like, I love the fact that he lives in the town that Lovecraft considered Dunwich.
Yeah, that's amazing. You must have.
Picture in the house. Oh, so I don't want to say it's my favorite. It's probably one of my favorite Lovecraft stories for sure. It's like 6 pages long. Talk about like seclusion. Uh, I love this. It's very different though. Like this is. I don't want to tell you about it. You'll read it and we can talk about it.
I'm making my list.
Check out Red Nails. It's one of his best Conan stories.
Sweet.
I don't know why I never got around to it. Yeah, Buscema.
Yep.
So
Those are the magazines I have.
slight tangent about Buscema is he's like my favorite without a doubt, right? If I could steal his style, I would. Now I can't steal his style, but Robert De La Torre, I think his name is De La Torre. Have you seen his stuff?
Yes.
I mean, it is John Buscema's Conan. Like it's hard not to see how he just basically studied Buscema and became him. And I go back and forth on what I think about that. I'm like, I want more Buscema because we'll never get it, but seeing somebody else do it, and he's doing Conan, so
Yeah. Well, that
yeah.
seems like it makes it right in the end, though.
I don't know. Is it?
No, I think so.
I don't know. Like if I stole your style, right, tomorrow, like I just go
Am I
home.
dead?
No, you're still you're still alive. You're still alive. I just go through my Red Koi books and I steal your style, like line for line, practically, right? And everybody can tell that I'm stealing your style. I don't like.
It'd be like, why did his art get so bad? He used to be so good on Norris H. Hoover. I don't know why he's.
I don't know. I would feel
Yeah.
weird. I get it. There's like a natural inclination to like there's certain things like I draw Gil Kane's knees or I draw Art Adams boots or whatever it is.
Mike Mignola's fingernails.
Yes.
That's a thing. Knuckles.
Yeah.
Knuckles.
I like Ron Friends' knuckles. Anyway, all right, let's like jump into the story because I'm curious. Um, oh yeah, Alfredo Alcala. Oh, man, I got to look at those Savage Swords of Conan's. They are depressing as well. I'm not gonna lie. They're
because
so,
of the
they're
talent.
they're so good.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you can look at artists and be like, aha, I'm inspired, and sometimes it's like I don't know what I'm doing.
I just had my shop order the 3 volume set of Lone Sloan, and
I
that
don't know
was
this.
someone in the chat helped me out. Philip. Now I'm gonna forget his name.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, okay. It was it's a hold on a sec. Sloan by Drouet. Drouet. Philip Drouet. He's a French comic artist. He like like the European French style. If you want to see some insane fantasy, thank you, Kayla. I knew you would. I knew you'd come through. She's like, dummy, why are
I'm
you here?
I'm a heathen. I don't know these.
No, she say that to me. But Nick, who colors Red Koi, he told me like last year, he's like, dude, I haven't even read this yet. He's like, check out Lone Sloan. And if you want to see the craziest sci-fi fantasy worlds drawn on paper and you just want to quit art, these are the books to check out. So I just had my shop order them. I'm looking forward to, the fall afterwards, but like mind-blowing work. Absolutely mind-blowing work. Just wanted to put that plug out there.
I will say that I've never read a Lovecraft adaptation, comics or otherwise. But it was my very first like thumbnail layouts for a book because that's Picture in the House is my favorite story. I'm like, that's 6 pages. I can convert this pretty well.
Yeah.
It's 2 characters. I could do it pretty well. I found the thumbnails. I was rooting through some old stuff. These are like 20
God.
years old. I don't know, probably more
That's
than
amazing.
that. I still might do it just for the hell of it.
Why not? I want to do that with a Jack London story. That's like a life goal.
Yeah. Okay, so Shadow over Innsmouth. Yeah, let's start. So what got you into the story, or was there anything that like because I have something in mind very specifically that I'm curious your thoughts on. So just kind of take us through.
Yeah. I think when I was learning the premise, I think something about when I first learned what Cthulhu was, I was like, oh my gosh, he's this gigantic ancient god of the cosmos, and like that just seemed obviously like way too remote to even start with. When I learned about Shadow over Innsmouth, and it was like, no, you start with this guy and he's just visiting a town, but the townspeople they've run all of the Christian preachers out of town, and they've all devoted themselves to this weird ancient religion, and it's based on these creatures in the ocean, and the more that they make sacrifice, the more that they change. And it was like, okay, this I can tap into. Like for something about the localness of it, the fact that it was this closed off, creepy New England town. I love that. But then also like that there were fish people. I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. It is my favorite movie, my favorite monster.
Huh.
So the fact that you could have that connection, and then I understood like, oh, and then you follow them and you can go deeper, and like they're leading you to, the giant terrifying cosmos that's just waiting to be awoken. So it was, I think, more approachable for me in a way. And I really resonated with like the like sensitive young man that's just like in I was trying to find the page where he's meeting people and he's like, my interests are architectural and antiquarian. I was like, yes, mine too, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, and I love the fact that he gets stranded there, and that's when things are like, oh, this is cool. Like we all like to maybe visit a part of the town that might be a little seedy or this or that, but you can get out of it. And now he's stuck there with smelly, scaly, weird, fish people. So what did you think about sort of the idea that the esoteric order of Dagon is it's not a secret society?
Yeah.
Did that strike you? I'm just curious because like it's so ingrained in me. I don't know what I thought about it the first time. Like usually we're used to secret cults and
Yeah.
hidden things, but this is just like out in the open in this town.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something about it when he's first taking the bus in and he's noticing, wow, this place is not only pretty remote, but there's so many creeks and marshes and waterways that make it even more isolated. Um, so that kind of cut off the sense that the town um, didn't have a lot of eyes on it at the time, like once before, which they allude to in the beginning of the story, where like when the government moved in to like what is it?
Below it.
The government moves in and like blows it up, and they take a bunch of people prisoner and stuff like that. But it's been quiet ever since. And so, but yeah, I guess it wasn't too strange because if you have a place that's kind of cut off, you can see how people kind of fall in line. Like there's a show coming out that's based on T.J. English's book, The Westies. Have you heard of this?
Mm-hmm.
The Westies, I won't go into it too much, but like they were like the last Irish American like gangsters left in New York. And like TJ English says, this crew was like it was an odd thing for the time, which is like the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He's like, this didn't exist almost anywhere else by this time. But they lived in Hell's Kitchen in this tiny little Irish American enclave that had just gotten smaller and smaller, but it was a culture unto itself. So a big part of their holding this place for so long, when there was not really such a thing as an Irish American gangster anywhere else besides like maybe Boston, maybe Cleveland, I think, but was the fact that it was such a closed off kind of separated community. So in that sense, I'm reading, I was like, okay, if everyone's oriented towards this is the way things are going to be, and if it's delivering the fish which allows our town to survive, and if we've run everybody else out who's going to speak against it and doesn't want it, I was like, okay, I can understand that they don't feel they have to hide it.
That's interesting. That's insightful because Lovecraft mentions, and I think it's in Picture in the House. I can be getting it wrong. Maybe it's Rats in the Walls. But he explicitly kind of sets that, and he says that as these people settled, they stayed away from each other, and the longer that happened, their own traditions and customs sort of arose. And like you said, it could be as crazy and bizarre as the esoteric Order of Dagon being at the local, Elks Club.
Well, there's an interesting thing about New England is that so there's a great podcast called A Brief History of Power, and they have it's a cool podcast. And one of the episodes called American Philippi, and it's about Boston. But it's about Boston as sort of the way Boston was created. It became a blueprint for almost every other town you see in New England, and almost like, I can't remember how far it goes, but quite far. So like Hartford, Connecticut, Nashua, New Hampshire, all these towns, they're basically blueprinted off Boston. With Boston is like when you had the settlement by the Massachusetts Bay Colony, it was sort of the sense of, okay, we're a covenant people, meaning like we are trying to live out, our relationship with God. And so we establish a church, and you got to be a part of the covenant to be a part of the church. And if you disagree, okay, well, you need to go start your own. You have the blueprint. Maybe you look at the covenant slightly differently, but then you go and you're going to establish a town. You know what you're going to do. You're going to establish a meeting house. You're going to establish these core things. But it's like, they continue to emphasize both sameness in the sense of you have that Boston blueprint, but also that if you don't exactly agree with our preaching, well, you can go start your own thing out there somewhere. You got a lot of weird little towns throughout New England that were started for just that reason, I bet.
That is interesting.
Oh, it's
I want to talk about that in 1 second.
Sure.
John's Longbox. Hey, how's it going?
John.
This is a little tangent. John's doing Crisis on Independent Earths. I don't know if you've had a chance to see what he's doing with that. No. Real short pitch. Anybody, any independent book, if you want to, you can submit 3 to 5 pages, sort of like a sliver in this book with a bunch of other indie artists and writers. Check out his channel. It's a very cool. I'm going to be doing it for Horace H. Hoover. So
Awesome.
I'm very excited about that. Some
Very
big
cool.
names, all sorts of people. I think it's a really a fun project.
Very cool.
Somewhat related, look at Manola's art, and you'll see he rarely draws feet. They're beyond time and space.
It's
I
true.
mean, he gets
That's
away
true.
with it though. Not everybody can.
No.
Um, yeah, I have to write down some of these.
Lone Sloan was not a Lovecraftian thing. It's just in the realm of like
Yeah,
Drouet's like an artist that you're like, oh, I'm done. I'm gonna be done now.
European comics are just far superior. So I don't know, top 5 favorite comic is Dylan Dog. If anybody out there has not read Dylan Dog,
I've not read Dylan Dog. I'll put it on
I
my list. Is just
freaking love it. It's one of my all-time favorites. And I mean, I could get very like Brendan, great book. Um, yeah, I mean, there's just something different about the European stuff.
yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, I want to sound like pretentious by referencing, no, it's just a totally different style.
Yeah.
Like it's a different, I love the fact that these European artists are like obsessed with American Westerns, you know?
It's amazing, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. No, I've got a bunch of books on this shelf over here that are not in English and I cannot read, but I'm just obsessed with typically French and Italian art, and the way that they do comics. And I'll be honest with you, like it wasn't until I learned how European comics like understood comics as a genre and the type of stories they told that I was like, oh, I feel like they get me. No one knows me, but like I was
Yeah.
like, I feel like I found some of my people here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just different. Like when I was youngster and I'd be in Italy, because they were all like these digest sizes, and they were in every like newsstand. So you just grab like a handful. So I have a bunch. Like every time I go, I just grab a bunch of these, and they just it's undoubtedly it's just a totally different style. And I don't want
Like
to.
you look at Topi,
Well, yeah,
or
yeah.
yeah, like
I didn't know that Richard Corbin did the Haunt of Horror comic base. Yeah, I don't know that. Dune that came to Sarnath. That's another great one too. I mean, there's only a handful that I would say don't bother with. Maybe a little more than a handful, but for the most part, there's a lot of real short stories that you can just get through. I gave you my 10 list, my list of 10. I mean, I think the reason why it's not hidden, the Worship of Dagon, is because they were hiding the fact that they were hybrid.
yeah, I mean, like there's the Innsmouth look,
Yeah.
you know, and like in the comic book,
Awesome.
let's see if I could find a good page, but like
love this.
When you have the what is it?
She mentioned Dylan Dog. I can't recommend it enough.
Okay, I have to check it out. That's a familiar title to me.
I think Mignola, like for the American version, I think he might have even done a cover for it. I think.
But like, so here, like this is the Innsmouth look. You know what I mean? Like, so that would catch your eye.
Yeah.
But like, so, and there's a page where he's trying to get back into the hotel, and there's just a crew of guys, like, and they're all, I'm just going to try to, I won't make everybody watch me. Or like, I mean, this one, this is at the restaurant that he's at. This is the lady that made his soup.
I mean, it's like one of those things where, and granted, I think it's a pretty good depiction of what we imagine from the prose. It's just outside the realm of weird, but like, I mean, let's be honest, we're out in public. We see some very strange anomalies, you know, bulging eyes, this or that, you know, so it's just outside of that. It's not so crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I think I agree, because when they start getting sharp teeth and claws, I think they're already well hidden away or have decided to go underwater.
Yep. So what else about the story? Like, what are the sort of the, not tropes, but what are the things that, like, now that when you think of Lovecraft, what are you thinking of?
Well, like, so the fact that it's all oriented towards the worship of Dagon, like that was fascinating to me. Because Dagon was a real god, and I've heard that like some people, and I don't know if it's true or not. it's disappointing if it is, but like apparently like they're like, well, Dagon was actually like the god of the harvest and not the god of fish for the Philistines. It's like, okay, whatever. But
Yeah.
like, but the fact that like Dagon is a god that's talked about in the Old Testament and like a god to whom ancient peoples sacrificed other human beings, but that this ancient world could exist in this, in the new world, and that the worship of demons would have such a profound effect on the physical. And like, you could see that happening. Like, you worship something evil long enough, that's going to have an effect on your overall
Yeah.
person. I mean, it's maybe a dark example, but like, if you've ever known someone who's addicted to something, alcohol or something, there's a look.
For
There's
sure.
a look there that runs across everybody who's addicted to that thing, and it can turn them into a monster or a zombie or something like that. So the fact that he was able to kind of like look at this old world kind of like biblical reality and then bring it into the new, and like, okay, well, let's push this even further and see what it's like when you get the new world not only worshiping it, but trying to drag it up into the modern world.
Yeah, and I like now outside of the twist at the end, which okay, that's another great question.
Yeah.
Did you see the twist?
I have to remember when I was actually listening to it if I saw it coming.
Because I can't remember. I have no idea.
The
Like to
fact that
me,
he kept. No, go ahead.
to me, it's so obvious, but like it's like anything else. Like the
Yeah.
second time, it's impossible.
The fact that he's continuing to look for family, the fact that he's continuing to try to, learn about who his family is. Like, I think before the end, maybe I'll give myself too much credit. I think I saw it coming, but like, yeah, it was.
I would
not
I
quite
would
expected.
I would also like to say this is the scariest use of the word tiara.
Yes, it is. Oh, gosh, horrifying. Come on, it's in here somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like classic Lovecraft tropes in this. I think, the bloodline, the antiquarian, the research, the sort of secluded town. Oh, that's
Here's your local
cool.
pastor.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never really seen a depiction of what it like to me.
Oh yeah, no.
I've
show one more.
I've tried to draw it. I'm going to show my Dagon sculpture just because.
Please.
I'm just gonna. I spent a lot of time on this thing over the years, and nobody. Wow, that is incredible.
Yeah.
Holy
and he
cow.
draws this multiple times. But like, it's got, I don't know if you can, the camera's good enough. It's got like this ghoulish monster at the top.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, show your sculpture though.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Fishmen are very cool. Ever since I watched like Creature from the Black Lagoon, and it has that premise that this is just a lost animal. Something about that, like I was like, oh, whatever that is, I really like it. Like, that's something I want to lean into. And this just gave me a chance to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great one to start with. So this, like,
there he is.
Tyler asked me if I liked the story Dagon. I'm like, I really liked the story Dagon. I sculpted it in ZBrush, and I made resin model kits of it. And this thing's about, I don't know how tall this is. 14, 15 inches.
That is so cool, man.
I took too long to do this, but hey, what are you gonna do?
And I guess I'm lying because technically, like, Ben Temple-Smith's version of Dagon is the first Lovecraft story I read. But I never went beyond that. But I think a big part of me getting into it was his so this whole talk has just been a lie. I'm sorry about that. No, but like was his like him talking about it earlier was just that, again, it's starting with like a single guy's experience. Like it's Dagon's funny because it's like it's really just like this giant moment where he's confronted by this horrific reality that he had never even considered before, and just it breaks him. Like so many of Lovecraft's characters, they just reach a point where they snap.
Yeah. There's either, again, I don't want to ruin too many stories if you're about to jump into them.
No, go
There's
ahead.
there's fainting, funny fainting, but I think that's an old that's an old timey writing trick, like the fainting. I was thinking about Dostoevsky. His characters faint.
Oh yeah.
Um, like they faint, and there's also bolts of lightning and explosions that sort of end some stories. But people complain about that. I'm okay with that. I think everybody kind of pulls something different. For me, the atmosphere is 80% of it. For some people, it's the sort of the mythos. Like, okay, this is
Mm,
Cthulhu, and he's an elder god, and he's an old one, and he's a deep one, and he's a day. That kind of hierarchy and structure to the gods. That's
yeah.
less important to me. I just love the atmosphere
Yes. Me
and
too.
then some of the character interactions. But even the characters are some of them are better than others,
Hmm.
but some of them are so. Oh man, yeah, we're gonna have to after you read the Dunwich Horror, Dreams in the Witch House. We're gonna have to talk about all those.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely I've got my mission. I'm excited about it. But
Let
yet
me
the whole like
let me jump
faint.
back here real
Oh yeah,
quick,
go ahead.
guys. When I worked around long haul truck drivers, there were more than a few that had the instant look. I mean,
It's a tough,
yes.
yeah, it's a tough gig.
I should also watch the movie Cemetery Man, which is based off a novel by the creator of Devil and Dog. I didn't know that. Serves as a test trail of sorts. Everyone talks about Lovecraft's racism, but no one talks about his classism.
Mm.
Yeah, I I don't even think about it twice. I'll be
Yeah.
completely honest. Like it doesn't even occur to me. Oh man, I have some really good jokes that I can't really say on the stream.
Well, the
Um,
documentary that I had watched, the reason I didn't like it is because the guy starts it by talking about how much he loved Lovecraft's philosophy of meaninglessness, and then he's just horrified when he finds like some of Lovecraft's like racist
mm,
writings, and he spends the whole rest of the documentary trying to like reconcile with that. I'm like, but if you really loved his philosophy and thought everything was meaningless, by what standard are you? Because he is consistently using the objective standard of good and bad to which, sure,
yeah.
I agree. I don't like racism either, but like, I've not adopted meaninglessness as my philosophy.
So I also think this is a weird thing that we do now more than people
Yeah.
used to do in the past. I think is that we take everything a character says in a story
Mm-hmm.
as the attitude of the author. Now,
Yep.
you can say, okay, listen, if he's X, if all of his characters are saying X, then surely the author is putting himself into it. Like if it's George R.
Sure.
Martin or somebody doing like or Tolkien, right? He's going to put
Yeah.
he's going to be subtle about it. You may not understand it, but I've never bought into that. To me, Lolita is one of my favorite books, but I don't think that Nabokov was a weirdo. You know what I mean? Like it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even occur to me. And he's written a couple of books, Pale Fire and Lolita. So I don't know if I'm just an idiot for not putting that together, because I think unless the thesis of the story, or at least you know the theme of the story, I should say, is openly something. What a
Mm-hmm.
character says at any given time, whether they be protagonist or antagonist, shouldn't we shouldn't infer the author's political or religious beliefs, right?
Yeah, and I mean, if you are expecting the author to write characters that reflect you and your modern sensibilities and morality, like, what are you even doing reading literature that wasn't written 5 minutes ago? Because it's whatever you're hoping to read beyond that's already going to be out of date and not meet your standard. And by
Yeah.
the way, you're not going to meet the next person's standard who does that to you.
Yeah, and it puts the seed in the back of my head
Yeah.
when I'm writing, is like, okay, here's a perfect example. I wrote this short story a while ago, and I don't know, it's like 20 pages long. It's set in like high school, and this one character makes a joke, which
Hmm.
I think is funny, and I think it's appropriate in the story. It's a horror story, but I
Sure.
needed some humor. So anyway, he makes this joke, and then I immediately thought, I'm like, are they going to think that's my voice?
Yeah.
Um, so as a writer, like I think that's the worst thing. You could have like this head like
Mm,
floating behind you, like judging not just like the actual story and the characters and the
hmm.
internal logic, but the sort of meta knowledge that people are going to pull from it. I think it
Yeah.
destroys art.
No, I think there's something to that for sure.
Let me jump back to the comments here. Larry, holy hell, that is amazing. Thank you. That you and two other people believe that, but thank you. Thank you. I used to do resin model kits for years, and then I stopped and just switched to comics. But um,
I
let's
did not
see.
know that.
Did I did resin model kits? Really?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah. So like Horus over here and Dagon, and I've done Nosferatu and Sasquatch and blah blah
Oh
blah blah
my
blah.
gosh.
I actually did Jacob Marley. All right, I'm going to show one more thing just
Yeah, let's see it.
because.
Come on. We're
All
in
right,
this now.
you read the comments, and I will find Jacob Marley.
Fainting is greater than gunshot fade to black. Yeah, that might be. I think with the fainting thing, like for me, the Lovecraft characters, it's like it's their sanity breaking, rather than like I guess the class, like, oh, like which I do. Don't get me wrong. Although I did read Crime and Punishment for the first time last year, and you're right. There's a good portion of fainting in that book, which was it was
Oh
everything it
man.
was cracked up to be. That is actually it is that is very good.
Man, okay. I mean, you're a reader, so I can say this with and not feel guilty about taking up time. But I think not only when you read something, but where you read it
Yeah.
makes so much difference. I was in Erie, PA. It is the middle of winter, and we're talking 4 feet of snow. The
Mm.
worst. Just like every day, it's 4 feet of snow. I have to take the bus to this crappy job, and I'm reading Crime and Punishment. Waiting for the bus, on the bus, at lunch and on the way back, and it just absolutely informs like your view of the whole thing.
Yeah.
All
But for
right,
the
and
first part of the book, you're like, I get it. I get it. Yes.
you can do it, man. What could go
Yeah.
wrong?
Why do you feel bad about this?
Um, hey, Dr. Mask, how's it going?
Good doctor.
Crenshaw, happy 50th. Crenshaw just celebrated his 50th on his channel.
Oh my
There were
goodness. That's
videos. There were
incredible.
videos involved. It was fun. I think fainting was
Congratulations.
just more prevalent before we were all desensitized.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't fainting. I mean, my wife has fainted a few times, so that doesn't count. But that sculpture was awesome. Hey, thanks, DJ. Thanks for popping in. People may have been hungry due to all the parasites in their body. That's true. They could have all been ill. One of my favorite books is The Picture of Dorian Gray, and that was pretty much Oscar Wilde's whole shtick. Wow, that's an interesting pick for one of your favorite books.
Never read it. It's on the list though.
That's interesting, Crenshaw. I ascribe all the bad things in your stories to you, Fabrizio. I ascribe all the good things to anyone else. Yeah, that's why I haven't released this short story. Actually, a few of these short stories, because they're R-rated, they're horror, so it's like the oval portrait. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm totally off topic, but the oval portrait looks like it highly informed Picture of Dorian Gray. Tyler has a fainting couch confirmed.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
What else about Lovecraft do we want to talk about? We're almost at an hour here.
Yeah.
The sea, the gods. Oh, you know what? The one thing that I do find interesting is, the big thing he really did was, in any other story, it would have been supernatural. It would have been ghosts. It would have been,
Mm.
a cult or a different kind of a cult. And I think it just gave like this new thing for everybody to play with. And here we are, like 100 years later ish, and people just can't get enough, to the point where, like, when everybody talks about, oh, there's too much Lovecraft, it's oversaturated, blah blah blah. I don't think that really holds anymore. To me, Lovecraft is
Yeah.
more like, it's like a universal monster now or something.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really part of like our culture. So there's vampires, there's werewolves, there's Cthulhu, there's
Hmm.
so I don't think you can get too much of it.
Well, also the point about rather than ghosts, like it's the underwater world and the horrors that it holds. Like, I mean, the one thing I'll say about like reading, especially Shadow over Innsmouth and Dagon, it's like I've always thought that, like, if you're on a beach at low tide and you actually like look at what a crab looks like, or you like if you look at the underside of a lobster, it's got like all these little legs, like it, or like the way an insect's pinchers go, and then like, but you put that in the water, it's so disturbing when you really think about it, and it's so alien, but within the space that we share. Like when people want to go deep sea diving or further out into the ocean than like their mid chest, I'm like, that's crazy. That's nuts. We should just put a wall between us and that, because there's only nightmares out there.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. You said that Creature of the Black Lagoon is your favorite. Is it?
Yeah.
Do you have an aversion to the water, or is it just?
No, I love the water. I love that environment. I mean, I also love the movie Anaconda. So, but like, there's always something I've had about like the jungle, the murky water.
Yeah.
Kayaking in Florida where there was 5-foot alligators just basking on the side between these two springs that we were on. I thought was an absolutely insane thing to do, but I also loved it. It's just something about that remote location in black water that you can't know what's in there. I love that environment for the monstrous. Like, and I
Yeah.
also love like the idea of an animal, but sort of pushing the bounds of nature. Obviously, Lovecraft's get into a further realm than that, but that's my love of like creature and like those types of monsters.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have an opinion one way or the other about the water, but all of a sudden he makes it creepier than it was 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, well, is it really that scary? And then like, well, it hasn't even been explored, and all sorts of, like, we'll see recently extinct, or not recently, or recently thought extinct species popping up, and you're like, oh, if that thing can exist, then really nothing's off the table with that.
Yeah. I think there's also just the sense like you don't want to touch any of it. Like, no, people don't like to touch fish. Like, I know there's fishermen on there, and I guess you're more of a man than me. That's obvious. Everyone knows that. But like, most people don't like to touch fish. I had to sell lobsters for a couple of summers. Like, you don't want to touch them. Like, it's just hard shells, and like if you grab them too high around the back, they shove their arms back and they jam you with their spikes. It's just, there's claws and slime and little pinchers. Like, all of it is just very off-putting. And that's why when he's doing this is like the horror element for some of his stories, I'm totally keyed in, like, yes, nightmares all the
time. So what is next on the docket for you? Because I'll jump back to the oh, you know what? I found Jacob Marley.
Please.
Here's a video of it. So this is Jacob Marley.
Oh my gosh, you didn't say it was the door knocker.
It's a video. Oh, is it not playing? Well, anyway, yeah, it's the door knocker.
Oh, the teeth.
Damn it.
The teeth in that line around.
There we go. Yeah, so
tell me you have this on your door.
Well, no, this is inside. So it's a resin thing. It's a resin model that I used to sell on Etsy a lot. Let me jump back to the comments. Never enough of great Azazoth or Mighty Yogg-Sothoth. The underwater world, the deep sea stuff is great, but seeing the stars without any light pollution, thinking of something in between the light and the darkness beyond is chilling, and I love it. Yeah, I do like the water. That was a dumb comment, but
Oh, good.
Love seeing my H.A. Trooper sculpture that I have by my MTV. Oh, that's right, GJ.
That's
You
awesome,
you
man.
have one of the kits. My son has his in his room. Ancient oceans are the scariest things. They were full of monsters.
Legit.
Did you know there was a planned John Carpenter Creature from the Black Lagoon, which would have been inspired by the Shadow over Innsmouth?
I did not, but now I'm very sad. So
Yeah.
thank you, Larry, for that.
Yeah. So, what's your next book that you're gonna read, and then we'll just kind of wrap it up.
As far as Lovecraft goes, I'm going to finish Dreams in Witch House, if I can remember the title, and then I think I should read the Dunwich Horror.
Okay.
I'm gonna look through that list you sent me, Larry.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna probably work through that, as well as this list everybody else has sent.
It's exciting. I mean, finding a new author. You were talking about Dune.
Yeah, just getting into Dune too, people.
It's just it's a whole world.
Like I've just been born.
I love it. I don't know the last time that's happened. I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
All right.
No, and I got to tell you, like from this side, it's thoroughly good. I haven't really had like a fictional world that I've been interested in tapping into.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter had a bit of a Harry Potter phase, and so we read a bunch of the book, not all of them, but a bunch of the books together, and then watched some of the movies. And it's cool. I get the appeal, but it's never been I tried. I was of that age. Like I read the first book and this half of the second book and never went back. But this especially has felt like me finding a place where my interests converge. And then the same with Dune. I was in the theater waiting for Spider-Man to start, and I saw the trailer for Dune 3, and I was like, oh, I think I want to watch that first movie. And so I watched it, and then my wife was going to the library. I was like, could you see if they have the first Dune book? And she got it, and last night I read 50 pages just, in an hour or two, and just thought it was great. So
yeah, I love Dune. I haven't read it since I was 18 or whatever it was, but man, I dug all of those. You know what else I was thinking about? Finding authors that sort of appeal to us for whatever reason. This happened to me a while ago, and I thought this was pretty interesting. Why do we like the stuff we like? And I think as like artists and writers, I think you should be asking that all the time, because if you can figure out why you like the stuff you like, then you can potentially leverage that and get other people to like the stuff that you're writing.
That's a great point.
That's how
a really great point.
I think about it. And I love the fall, and I love New England, and I love I love the research part of the movie. And I used to think that part was Lovecraft. I watched Something Wicked This Way Come, which is a novella, which is a great novella if you haven't read it.
Okay.
It's Ray Bradbury. Great novella.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm giving you all these things.
No, this is great. I need it.
But anyway, I put in the movie, and I hadn't seen the movie literally since I was, 6 years old, maybe 7 years old. And I'm watching this movie, and it's literally ticking off this list of things that I love. Like down the list, old books, researching, like everything. And I'm like, this might have been like the moment that like a huge part of my aesthetics and personality was formed.
That's amazing. I'm having that similar experience with Shadows over Innsmouth, and I had that same experience watching the movie The Ninth Gate and listening to the book it's based on. But like when I was first watching The Ninth Gate, I watched it late, like it had been out for years by that point. But I was like, I needed a movie, and it was on. I was like, oh, he's like a book hunter. Oh, he's a rare book hunter. Oh, there's supernatural. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Like how can we, oh my goodness, there's a real supernatural element to this. It was just, and like searching out those book plates, like those images.
Yes.
I just thought that was the greatest thing, going to Europe. And like, I don't know, I loved it. I thought it was wonderful.
There's a puzzle in the book, and there's secrets in the illustrations and the etchings. It's absolutely one of my favorite books. I have a small story about that. So I've been a Johnny Depp fan literally since 21 Jump Street.
Sure.
most people did not like Johnny Depp until like Pirates. Okay. So I knew the ninth gate was coming out, and I'm like, we're gonna be in the theater the morning of, with my wife. So we're sitting there, and anybody who knows the movie, the intro is long,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
These gates, literally, it's the longest intro, and we're sitting there, and my wife starts to cough. I think she drank something. She started to cough, and I'm like, you better be done coughing by the time this movie starts. I like there's no Google, there's no YouTube. Like, this is the opportunity for this for this movie. So I was a little impatient because I knew the importance of this movie, and I watched it, I don't know, dozens and dozens and
Yep.
dozens of times
Yep.
since then.
That's one that probably at least once a year I'll
Yeah.
end up throwing it on, or I'll be blandly searching through one of our endless apps, and I'm just like, oh, Ninth Gate's here. I have it in DVD up on the shelf, but I should probably just watch it now on this one.
Yeah. I've tried to not rip off things, but I'm like, okay, how can I,
Homage.
pull things that
Sure.
that aren't
Yes, my
yeah,
best friend told me that as well, Larry, and I will do that.
they're both great. They're very different, but I still love the David Lynch version.
Okay.
Visually, some really cool stuff. Now, don't compare it to the book. Don't compare anything to the book. Just take it. The series, the 2000 series, is closer to the book for sure because it was a mini series. Highly recommend it, though.
Cool.
Yes, it's
Yes.
so good. Wow. That was, I think Crybaby might have been right after 21 Jump Street. So you got in early, John. Yeah, like, I mean, most of my favorite movies are Johnny Depp movies. Sleepy Hollow, The Ninth Gate.
That was another one, Sleepy Hollow. Thank you for saying that. That was another one I have, and it's just I remember the first time I saw that, it's like just enough gore that I am personally comfortable with. Like, that's just me. But like, it was like, I love this era. I love this old New England, like New York vibe. I love everything about that movie. It's like close to the perfect movie for me.
Man,
the perfect Halloween movie, I guess.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to talk about those come Halloween or something.
I have to rewatch them and enjoy that.
This is awesome. Thanks everybody in chat for joining us.
Thank you
going to
guys
discuss
very much.
Every time Tyler reads a new Lovecraft story, or 2 or 3, whenever he wants to, we'll have to chat about it. So for me, things I'm doing, I'm procrastinating. I'm doing random, like, sketchbooks and bookbinding, and I just did some pixel art for Horace H. Hoover, and I built a game engine. So I am doing other things, but Horace H. Hoover should be back sort of in my purview soon. So that's awesome. For me. What about you?
Yeah, so I am working on the last chapter of Red Koi, obviously, in my new format. The last chapter is going to be 48 pages, and I am on page, I think I'm on page 32 out of 48. And so that's pencils. I've got 32 pages penciled. I'm going to finish my pencils. Then I'll be on to the inks. Nick is coloring
cool.
Issues 8 and 9, and probably end up doing all the lettering as well.
Huh.
So we're just working on that, trying to... I hate only having pencils to post because I never really feel like it's real art until I do things, because my pencils don't look like a good artist's pencils. So it's just like, but I've got a new format where I'm just drawing my pages on the sketchy crap paper so I can work out all my details, and then I'm transferring with the light box, and it's really helped it move along quite well. So I'm excited to take to the inks and see how that goes. But I really appreciate the people who have reached out, everyone who's continued to support, and that's excited for Red Koi. I'm sorry for the time that it's taken, and going to continue to take probably another year or two, but we're trying to work as fast as we can, and keep putting art out, keep trying to get stuff out to you guys. And anybody has any questions or ever wants to reach out, I'm always happy to hear from you. So
cool. Yeah, I mean, I love seeing pencils, thumbnails, layouts. So
good. Okay.
I say post them. I post mine whenever I get a chance to, but Anyway, thanks for joining. Thanks everybody in chat. Yeah,
Thank you for
everybody
having
have
me.
a
Thanks,
good night,
guys.
and I'll talk to everybody later. Bye.
Bye, guys.